Hello. It's been a minute since I recorded a video, but this story came up yesterday and I didn't, could have done an article, could have done a post, but I thought, nah, this one really deserves a video. And I'm going to do my best to stay calm and chill because I really need to make this point to business owners and CFOs. You just have to understand what you're up against in the insurance market, specifically the fully insured marketplace of healthcare insurance. Um, what I'm about to tell you is not uncommon. I've had this happen multiple times in my career. I don't want to say every year, but it's at least every other year. But I think this might have been the most egregious one, 23 years in, and I actually shared it with a client yesterday, a different client, not the one that we're talking about. They'll get that news tomorrow. Um, and I shared it with my teammates. Anyway, just get right into it. Stupid carrier tricks, fully insured PPO renewal edition. So we're going to talk about one company, 448 employees. We got a 19.9% increase, which would have brought the premium up to 5.7 million. That's a $943,000 increase to this employer. Again, about 450 employees, they're looking at about a mil dough, right? Okay. Loss ratio reported just over 100% first 7 months of this year, but they ran in the low 80s last year. We'll get more into that. And also, you just really, really have to look at those loss ratio claims numbers on fully insured groups with a scrutinizing eye, because what a carrier will do is build in an IBNR, incurred but not reported. So the carrier will, a lot of times, instead of just issuing you a purely paid report, they'll say, well, we know there are one, two, three, maybe even 4, 5, 6 months of claims out there that are going to come in that haven't come in yet that we need to build into your experience to make it look like it's running poorly. Again, reminder, in the fully insured marketplace, as long as you're a large group, you have to run an 85% loss ratio. That means that for every $100 you give the carrier, they have to spend 85 of that on claims. They get to keep 15%. That 15% goes to pay the broker, it goes to pay their staff, lights, rent, etc. All right. So they should be able to, and honestly, they should be able to be profitable at 87, 88%. 85 is fine. I don't begrudge them that if it's a legitimate 85. Okay, we went to work, obviously. This is the third year this client has gotten an increase like this, and we went to work big time. So, uh, what was the best alternative for this client? Well, of course, it's me. So reference-based pricing came out the best. And again, it's not just because it's me, it's because you're never going to beat that in pricing. Never. Now, you may not have the stones to go RBP. That's fine. I get it. But you're not going to beat it on price ever. So, expected cost, 4.5 or 4.9%, call it 5% under current. And I'm just going with the underwriter here. I actually think it would probably run 10 to 15% under current, but I didn't want to change anything. We went straight with the stop loss market on this. So 4.9, call it 5% under current, would have saved them 234,000 under current. Again, that's opposed to the $1 million increase, right? And then of course, when you self-fund, claims vary. Maximum liability with the aggregate insurance on this would have had them at 14% over current. Again, way better than the 19.9, right? So we have a no-brainer financial solution here. But I know this client's been reticent to go RBP in the past, so let's show them something else. Second best alternative is to go ahead and put in a traditional PPO network on a self-funded plan, but also put in reference-based pricing alongside of it. You can offer both. What you do is you make the RBP plan richer, you make the contributions less, you do it in an actuarially sound way, and let employees pick, right? Do I want zero pushback and the easiest possible thing with a big old national logo on there? Great, I'll do that. Or do I want to get like the most healthcare I can for the cheapest price with a white glove concierge service and people to help me here in America to get this care? Um, no bias at all, right? So anyway, they could do that, and their expected was only a +2. Call it $100,000. Excuse me, no, -2. It's a -2, Craig. God, it's early. So -2% or $100,000 savings. What's their worst case scenario in that situation? 17.6% over current. Again, still better than the 19.9. So here we go. We have a solution, right? Second best alternative, clearly the winner for them because I know they're worried about reference-based pricing, which is totally fine, but we've got the solution. Now, again, not to state the obvious, but industry norm, courtesy, you give the incumbent a chance to match. No employer wants to go through a change unless they have to. So we went back to this incumbent carrier, third year in a row, and said, look, you're about to lose the business. It's okay. You don't want the business. We're good. We've got better alternatives. If you want to match, here's where you got to be. How do you think this carrier responded? I'll give you a moment to think about it, right? Just give you a moment to think about it. CFOs, VPs of HR, CEOs, this is what you are dealing with. Rate pass. They wiped away the $943,000 increase. Whoosh. Took them like 3 days. I mean, wiped, right? So I asked this question to my team yesterday. We got everybody together. I didn't let the account executives or the producers, advisors, whisperers, consultants, whatever we call ourselves, I didn't let them answer the question. I asked all the new people, what does this tell you about the fully insured marketplace? What does this tell you about healthcare in America, fully insured healthcare in America? Wasn't me that said it. I heard words like scam, fraud, liars. Look, they obviously don't need a 20% increase if they're willing to write this business for zero increase. Now, I have many clients that would fire them now. Many. Most of my clients would. Most of my clients would say, Craig, I trust you. Let's go. I'm out of this rat race. This particular client has some needs, has some differing opinions in the management team. They probably won't. They will probably renew. And I get that. Like, why go through upheaval and change when you can just roll the dice another year and say, hey, man, we got another year. So, like I said, okay, I thought it was over 100%. It's a 97% reported loss ratio this year through 7 months. Again, I don't trust it. I believe they're going to bake in IBNR, even though they say they won't. It was 82% last year, and it was 101% the year before, but we had some really nasty claims on the plan that are no longer on the plan that year. One was a hemophiliac, unfortunately, and that person is no longer on the plan. So the stop loss market was good. I mean, they were like, let's go, right? We'll take this case. But this is what you're up against, folks. By the way, this client, his name is Brian, dear friend of mine, been my client forever. He's a reference for you. If you're an owner, if you're a CFO, and you want to verify that what I'm telling you is true, I will put you in touch with Brian. He's a very reputable businessman. He will share this story with you because here's the thing. This is the third year in a row we've seen something like this on this particular employer group. Okay, so what are the takeaways for CFOs? Um, you have got to go to market every single year. You will hear lazy consultants and advisors tell you, oh, we don't believe in marketing every year. We believe in forming a deep partnership with our carrier. I just twitch on that one. You don't have an advisor, you have a lapdog, okay? You got to go to market every year. Now, if we're talking vision and you're in a rate lock, fine, right? Life, you're in a good rate lock with a low rate, fine. But on medical, come on now, let's go. We got to market that every year. If we're not marketing it, fire your broker. You don't need a broker. Okay, try to stay calm, getting over a cold. Bear with me. Uh, if you aren't using a broker who at least knows how to reference-based price and is known for doing so, you're not generating the leverage you need with your carriers, right? So this insurance carrier knows me well. They watch the videos. They know exactly what they're up against. They know, maybe they don't, but I'll tell them now, 7 of our last 8 clients all came in to self-fund with reference-based pricing at some level or another. My clients know. They know how to save money. These carriers know. Don't mess with the lawyer who puts in RBP because they will leave, right? But if you, by the way, the fully insured market all declined to quote this. So if your broker just goes out to get the 4 or 5 fully insured quotes available, you're never going to get this savings. You're never going to see it. They would have eaten a 20% $1 million load because they would have never had a self-funded RBP quote that was valid and that the carrier knew, don't push Craig. He will do this. They will do this. They're known for this. So, look, again, if your consultant is your golf buddy and you're good with eating 10, 15, 20% increases, you're not for me and I'm not for you. But if you need to save every money, if you want to cut to the bone, this is what I'm talking about, or this. I think it's this way for you guys, different screens. All right. Obvious point three, if you're fully insured, just know you are lowering yourself into a den of vipers. It's that simple. If you have an outstanding advisor, and there are some out there, I know them, I talk to them, I think they're great, and there's plenty I don't know, I'm sure. But it takes a lot of work to get these renewals down where they need to be because we had to quote, we had to go out and quote fully insured, which they all declined. We had to quote high deductible plans, fully insured as well. We had to quote reference-based pricing options. We had to quote slice reference-based pricing options where we run a PPO alongside of reference-based pricing. Um, we had to do it all. And then we had to piece together what was best for the client. So it's a ton of work. Now, this is the third year in a row with similar results for this employer. Again, his name is Brian. You can talk to him. Trust me. I'm not making this up. Um, we've saved them, it's been roughly $1 million every year. Now, the other years, they weren't 20% increases. The first year was something like a 10% increase that we got to like -4. The second year was something like a 12% increase that we also got negative. This year, so I mean, they literally, this employer with us now for 3 years, coming from one of the largest brokerages in the world, just eating those 8% increases every year. When Brian came in, Brian had worked with me before. He knew we got to get rid of that big, bloated Wall Street broker. We got to put Craig in, and we'll show what real estate. Their rates are 3 years later lower than what they were 3 years ago because of this work. And that's me staying fully insured, folks, which is like holy water on the demon to me. I get it though. We got to do what's best for this group, and what's best for this group is to stay fully insured. So look, you got to just work so hard to rectify their affinity for fraud. That's all I got. That's all I got. Um, Thank you for this episode. We'll talk to you again. Hopefully, I'll do another video again before too long.